Welcome to our podcast, Learn Biblical Greek, brought to you by Dr. William Stewart, the co-founder of Teleios. This captivating podcast teaches you biblical Greek through a verse-by-verse study of the book of Ephesians, interjecting Greek grammar, Greek word meanings, and vital theology concepts. Thanks for joining us on this exciting biblical journey. Your study will be more effective if you use the Greek text with the Bible word codes, either on the eSword download or Bible Hub website. These links are on our podcast website at www.teliosresearch.com.
Hi, I'm William Stewart, co-founder of Teleios. Welcome back to our podcast on learning biblical Greek. This is the podcast where you can learn Greek straight from Scripture. And we're in Ephesians, and the great book teaching us so much about Christ, salvation, and the Christian walk. We're in chapter 3, and we've just started discussing Paul's second model prayer, the first one being the second half of chapter 1. Here we're in chapter 2. Paul is beginning to pray. We're in verse 15. Now, this verse could be part of his prayer. It might not be, and you may have to decide for yourself. So let's go to the text, get that Greek text open. X it's really ek, out of a preposition, but in front of a vowel to ease pronunciation. It softens, adding the S to the K, gives you the Greek letter X. It always takes the genitive. So it's coming out away from, that's usually the genitive. U, short word. So there's no T on the front. Makes you consider a relative pronoun. And indeed it is. So it's either which or whom. In this case, it's who, that of Jesus from the prior verse. Pasa. The OU, of course, is genitive, singular, and masculine in this case. Pasa, this is a feminine singular nominative. Okay, so this is all. So remember, we see this a lot, but the root word, we see this word a lot. The root word is pant, P-A-N-T. So the ending for the feminine is usually S-A in some derivation. So we add S-A for the nominative. Now, the S, when it's preceded by a T, the T elates, simplest way to put it, and so does the N. It kills off two, and that leaves with pasa. Okay, patria. So this is family, tribe, nation, I guess. Also, of course, it's in the nominative singular feminine. The A tells you that it's in the nominative singular feminine. Could be nation. So out of whom every nation, in unos. So there's our in, again, preposition, most common preposition, meaning in English, on, at, over, by means of uinis. So it has to take the dative, OIS, as you know, is the plural, masculine or neuter dative form. Heavens. So heavens in Scripture are always plural. We don't know why. In many cultures, heavens were thought, in the Greek culture, heavens were thought to be multi-layered. And perhaps this is reflected in 2 Corinthians 12, with Paul being called up to the third heaven. And so it is plural. The Hebrews would make heaven plural as well. And maybe this was due to the plural of majesty in the Hebrew tongue. Maybe it's carried over here. There's so many Hebrewisms in the New Testament, as the writers were almost all Jewish. So we don't know, but it's typically heavens, as we see in English as well. Kai, a most common word in the New Testament, in Greek, and connecting two similar thoughts. Epi, on. This can take any of the declensions, dative, genitive, or accusative. In this case, it is the genitive, geese, where we get the word ye. In the original Greek, where we get the word geology, GE in the Greek. And here you see it's the feminine genitive singular. Then we have a verb, long one this time. So let's work through it. Do we see a prefix? No. Do we see an augment, that epsilon, indicating past tense indicative? No. The root word onomats. Okay, so that's this ends in a Z. Then we know this is the second type of Muntz verb. If you have his book, where the originally the verb supposedly came from had a consonant iota on the end. This one of these consonants that disappeared. The other one was digamma. So out of the present tense, the Z disappears and takes on other letters. And but in the present tense, it will keep the Z. And so it tells you it's in the present tense. That E as the connector to the ending that specifies the gender and number also tells you it's present tense. It's either O or E in the present tense, but it could also be the future and the aorist passive. But these don't have those forms. So tie then is the third person singular passive ending. So is name. So quite simply, of whom the whole family in heaven and earth is named. So again, Paul's probably starting this prayer here. It's a model prayer for us. And so I think the lesson for us is that praise is included in our prayers. So it's a good thing to put in our prayers, and we'll get some other additions as well as we go forward. One other quick note, you notice the verb is at the end. Remember, sentence structure and phrase structure in the Greek is quite flexible. If a verb is either at the beginning or the end, it means emphasis. Probably a little bit less emphasis when it's at the end of the phrase than if it's at the beginning. So another quick thought there. Thanks for joining me today. Come back next time. We'll get into the meat of the prayer. I look forward to seeing you then.